Angela Rippon is laughing like a drain, laughing so hard, in fact, that she starts to cough. Bosch, says her Strictly Dance partner Kai Widrington, and off they go again with the giggles. Kai is describing the TikTok videos he has recently shown her in which Bosch has become a sign-off, a new catchphrase for the kids. Now they are both saying it after a good run, he explains. Angela can only titter helplessly. This was yesterday morning after a week of exhausting, 6-hour training days. And this is the relentlessly buoyant 79-year-old Angela we have come to know and love on the ballroom floor, the woman who shoots up the stairs to Claudia every week like Roadrunner. For a moment, she becomes reflective. This weekend she and Kay, 28, will ease off the accelerator and dance the waltz to Nat King Cole's Fascination, and she is thinking of her dad, John Rippon, the man she calls the hero of my life. She says, "My father loved dancing, and if we went to a family occasion or anywhere there was dancing, I would stand on his feet while he danced around. I think waltzing was one of the first I ever did as a little girl. My father loved dancing and my mother was not so keen, so when I was growing up, even when I was a teenager, we danced. I remember once we entered a twist competition together. Perhaps it is especially poignant she is thinking of him the week before Remembrance Sunday, as her dad, who died a decade ago, was a Royal Marine during the Second World War, and only returned in 1948 when Angela was 3½. There is a photo of her meeting him for the first time and being held in his arms on his ship when it docked near their home in Plymouth, Devon. She has, she says, a face of sour milk because she didn't know him. That soon changed and they became devoted to each other. She wants to make him proud tonight, and says, I want to make my dad proud every day of my life. Snapping back to jovial, she adds, I can tell you, standing on my father's feet and dancing with Kay, are two entirely different things. I hope I'm not standing on Kai's feet. She admits she is not finding the waltz easy, explaining that although the dance looks slow, it requires strength and energy below the surface. Kai says, to do a dance slowly well requires a lot of control and technique. We are at the halfway stage now and we don't want to go home. It is no surprise Angela is competitive. The rip-off Britain presenter, who trained in ballet throughout her teens, left school at 17 to go into journalism. She began in local TV before joining the BBC's 9 o'clock news as a reporter, then became the BBC's first regular female news anchor. Angela also hosted Come Dancing in the 80s. But despite her astonishing high leg kick on the Morecambe and Wise show in 1976, no one was expecting her to be quite as brilliant on Strictly. However, she repeated the same leg kick in her first dance, with head judge Shirley Ballas labeling her an inspiration. Kai says, we have taken it to the bank and ran. Angela tries to play down the hype but agrees her legs might end up with their own TV program. She says, I did the Morecambe and Wise show and the legs became a thing. For years after people would say, hello, Angie, show us your legs. You work in broadcasting and hope what you do resonates or pleases or entertains or informs the audience. But it's nice to be remembered for something. I took it as a huge compliment. Her 20-year marriage broke down in the late 80s, and Angela tends to stay silent on the question of new relationships. But she roars at the suggestion Strictly will bring new admirers and love, adding, I'm getting lots of nice comments, but no. I'm very fortunate I have lots of absolutely wonderful men in my life. Married men, single men, gay men, straight men, I have a wonderful collection of really super friends, men and women, and I take joy in that. But I don't think being in Strictly has done anything to my mental state, telling me it's about time I have a man in my life. One new man set to stay in her life is Kai. He says, "It's like we have known each other 50 years, but ironically there is a 50-year age gap. You wouldn't know it the way we talk to each other and banter. Angela's approach to age is, act your shoe size." She says, "My shoe size is 38 and I think that's what I behave." But she says, in the older generation there is a vast reservoir of knowledge, ability and experience, and we should never shortchange that or ignore it. If young people are given the opportunity to tap into that knowledge, it opens up doors for them. She adds, "A lady in the supermarket tapped me on the shoulder and said, 'I want you to know, women of our age with our hair color, we are very often invisible, but you are going to make headlines for us.' And I think that's what I have done." As she and Kai would say. Bosh. Strictly, BBC One, 7:05 p.m., Saturday.